nasty strategies here as well, Maynard. Down here in the bottom left-hand side, I actually do expect him to get a little bit cheeky in this series as well. He is nice. Playing for Kaiser Gaming, as you mentioned before, Maynard. Gets a second intro.
That's right, in the top right here. He is the Terran player ExpecT. Known amongst the Taiwanese scene as the Terran God.
The seether of Korea. Of Taiwan, sorry.
Yep. Every region's got to have one.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's always a special following around, you know, the best player of your race in your region that all the other competitive players like to learn from and copy from, and, you know, often ask them questions and stuff in their little community groups, and they all kind of learn builds off each other. I'm sure that is the case here as well. So that probe does come on in. It's going to just check and says, hey, all normal over here on the Terran side of the map. And looks like it's going to be Cybercore before Nexus. So very typical opening here from Nice so far.
Yeah, one of those openers that's a little bit safer if the Terran tries to do something nasty, but also can be potentially aggressive as well, as you have earlier access to Stalkers / Adepts. Kind of depends what you might want to make out of the gateway. I feel like Adepts are a little bit more common just to start things off with, because you just have that shade ability, and you can, you know, the Adept ones that deals with a Reaper can just go across the map and annoy the Terran before the bunker is a thing. Yeah,
I think it's nice to slow down the Terran's build. So if you go straight across the map with that Adept, you don't stay at home at all. And shield battery's going down, so that's what he's doing. That forces the Terran to build a bunker before they take their second gas. Now, the problem here for ExpecT is ExpecT hasn't scouted this, but you know what? That's fine. He puts the bunker down blind. He's playing safe. Good, solid play here by ExpecT. Doesn't want to let Nice get under his skin and mess with his build order. Not this early.
Yeah, the Reaper is going to jump into the main base here, and that shield batteries means that the Reaper's not going to get any damage done. It will, however, scout, and that's really what the Reaper exists for.
Yeah, solid opening on both sides. Because the second gas gets delayed, this delays the starport. So that's the whole function of this build. It slows down any potential Widow Mine drop, anything like that. Allows your Adept to check what's going on. You'll notice no gas when the factory finishes. And yeah, it's just kind of checks the Terran's build a little bit. Makes sure they are nice and solid. Now, the Reaper's going to run on in, but ExpecT a little bit late on his orbital behind this. Does see the Twilight. And should be able to spot that Robo at the front in the near future as well, as long as his Reaper can do a bit of a circle around this base, which looks like he's going to do. Keep that Reaper alive, get the full scout. Very nice opening here from ExpecT.
That's right. And maybe what you would expect from Nice as well.
What do you think about the Cyclone opening here for ExpecT? Is that just to push back like the Adept and then maybe to deal with a Warp Prism a little bit later? It seems pretty rare for someone to go for a Cyclone when they know their opponent's opening up with Twilight Robo.
Yeah, it is a very anti-Stargate thing, right? That's and he's starting the Viking as well, huh? This looks like ExpecT expects a Stargate. It's like, oh, there's a Stargate here.
Very weird, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It shuts down observers and warp prisms and stuff, potentially. He's going to go out and catch this Adept with the Cyclone. It's not terrible by any means. The Cyclone gives you some flex. He's got a siege tank on the way behind that. So, you know, the Viking is also a kind of low-cost harassment unit, right? Rather than flying a Libin that costs 150 gas, you can always land that in a mineral line, and it'll take out a lot of probes if there's no units there. So, not a bad opening here for ExpecT, who is now going up into the second barracks. And just kind of continuing that progression. On the other side, Nice. Well, that is a 4-gate Maynard, so looks like he's going to be really aggressive with the blink.
And that's why I'm worried here for ExpecT, because you go for the Cyclone and the Viking. That's not that's not a Liberator. That's not a tank. And I feel like, and no Raven either. Like, all the things that you would kind of rather have against this sort of build from Nice aren't here at the moment. Now, is ExpecT dead? No, not just yet, obviously. But on paper, I am a little worried. You know, the bunkers matter a lot, and I do mean bunkers plural. I like the tank and the natural. I actually really like the Sim City now. That looks really nice. But the main high ground is what I'm worried about here.
Yeah, the area I worry about is actually the very top left of the base. I think with the observers spotting where the... Oh, yeah, very nice. So I think the best
Excellent.
angle for Nice to take advantage of is he wants to get in on the very left-hand side of the base towards where the Viking is and take advantage of those barracks and the refinery and the mineral line, because these tanks are so focused around the front. That top side of the base is very vulnerable. You can see Nice is rotating up there right now. Yeah, he's going to find the right angle, especially if he takes the Cyclone out. This is going to get really hard for ExpecT to deal with.
Oh no, Stim is being targeted down and Nice gets the denial. This is already very rough here for ExpecT.
He just blinks forward.
Wow. A big blink forward there. Gets the tank, gets the Cyclone. And a lot of the Stalkers are still alive here. He's only lost 3 so far, with a lot of damage done in the main base of the Terran.
Yeah. Second barracks does go down there. Wow, actually limits the production. But now that the tanks have rotated, he can stop himself from dying here. He should be okay. If Nice does one more warp in, he might be able to just kill him if he can take out one of these siege tanks. But I think I'm just as happy for Nice to take a third, make a couple rounds of Zealots, and then go a little bit later. As it is, I mean, ExpecT here is so vulnerable at this moment.
Oh, Nice is getting a third. He's making a bunch of gateways. Big blink forward there. There might be a bit of an extension here from Nice, but he does get the tank at least.
He's got to chase him down, does ExpecT. He's got to push him back here. Yeah. Now that the Marines close the distance, a few of them get out, but a lot go down. And at the end of that, as the dust settles, you've got a Terran who's just lost a crazy amount of mining time. He's building 3 barracks in his natural to try to make up his production. Doesn't have a lot of mobility. Stim's just started. Protoss has all the map control in the world. I think economically this is fine for ExpecT. It's just the fact that the Protoss still has so much mobility. And yeah, it's this. It's just little bits of follow-up damage are going to be so annoying. Oh, these barracks at 99%, unable to finish.
Oh, this one does, thankfully. A lot of them aren't producing anything because they're getting their add-ons right now. ExpecT was trying to go to a 2-base, 5 barracks, sort of 2-base all-in here. But Nice has got so many gateways on his side of the map. He's got 8 warp gates ready, Pig, and he just starts his third. He is so comfortable right now.
And the tech is super late, right? Templar Archives is finishing, but Forge is just starting. I think there's ways back into this game. ExpecT just needs to really lock things down. He can't keep taking damage like this.
No, not indeed.
Man. This is just, yeah, so the momentum is there. I mean, economically, you're still fine as ExpecT, but you've got to get this out of your base. It feels like Nice is playing with his food a little bit. I mean, numbers-wise, ExpecT is fine. You know, this is not game over by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the level of control and the knowledge, the information that Nice has. You can tell he's going to be comfortable. His observer sees everything. Meanwhile, ExpecT is there going mind racing. Where am I in this game? Am I ahead on workers? Am I behind? Does he even have a third base? ExpecT has 0 information. So the problem isn't the numbers. The problem is the fact that his next decisions are going to be made off 0 information.
Yeah, and Nice has just got the map to himself, honestly. The Terran is so pinned. I think the best play here for ExpecT, and we're already seeing it sort of underway, is to get a big bit of army supply, load up with it, kind of line up the upgrades, and then try and go for it. But looks like he's going to just throw some drops out here. Still just on the heavy defensive at the moment.
I'm happy for him to play 3-base full defense. I honestly think, looking at the way Nice is playing, this is very typical of most Protoss players right now, in Korea especially. And that is... Oh my god.
Storm drops here, but Nice is actually losing some High Templar. He gets 8 SCVs, which is great. Or main base has got some damaged SCVs from earlier. Loses another High Templar. The Prism goes to Mount Cyril and goes to the recall.
Good recall there. I mean, Mount Cyril, you can't get quite up to the corner. So the moment like a Viking or anything comes out, you will get cornered up there. And, you know, there's only so long you can stare at the face of the goat before you do get a little bit nervous. So it's a good recall home. There's more High Templar. There's a ton of Storm. And how do you push through Storm? Well, you got to be very careful, very methodical. And, I mean, numbers-wise, what have we got? 13 Zealots, 10 Stalkers against 13 Marauders, 29 Marines. This push is doable, but ExpecT's got to be so careful. With the Observer seeing everything, I can see a few Storms finishing this game off. Look at that. Drop on the north. Drop on the north. Massive ambush.
Yeah, High Templar from the bushes here. It is going to get gunned down, but he gets a lot of damage on the bio. The charge lot starting to stream on in. High Templar from 2 angles here. The tank's exposed, and that means that these Zealots are going to hack and slash through a few of them. Nice is definitely losing a lot of his forces, but he's pushing back ExpecT.
Yeah, man. I mean, you can just see it's like the perfect engage for Nice almost, and he still almost loses all of his units. Like, that just shows how strong ExpecT's macro has been in the chaos, whereas Nice obviously cutting those corners. But now that Nice clears all the tanks and medevacs out, Nice is like, okay, cool, let's take a fourth. I got +2 on the way. I got 2 Immortals and 2 Archons left. From here, ExpecT really doesn't have a lot of play. There's not much he can do.
Yeah, he's going to try and hold on. A valiant effort from ExpecT, but there is just too much Protoss from Nice. A couple of these units getting a pathing error there, but the Archons and the charge loss are keeping that third very exposed, and Nice is going to do some critical damage here, if not just win the game.
Baits him out into the open a little bit. 2 medevacs finally starting to heal this, but they're the only 2 medevacs left over. And yeah, just nice play here, honestly.
Literally.
Yep, literally nice play. Not bad, not bad. There's a Warp Prism still coming out now as well. Just rebuilt the High Templar for Storm, adding the second Robo in the Robo Bay. And I feel at this point, there's very little the Terran player can do. I think it all just came down to the fact that he was not thinking about that top left-hand side of his base early on. And, you know, unfortunately, those Stalkers just did a little bit too much damage, despite him seeing the 4 gates coming. So earlier on in these tournaments, we saw a few people going for like a second bunker. Some went for a third bunker as well against 4-gate Blink. I thought it was a bit of an over-response, but at the same time, if you know it's coming and you've got that Reaper checking and saying, hey, there's no third at all with this, I don't mind it. I would have loved to ExpecT to just double down on the defense against the 4-gate Blink.
Oh, here comes Nice for the next wave here. Now, there is a similar army supply for ExpecT, and he does still have those tanks. He also has Ghosts, so I'm starting to believe if this engagement is handled well, he could survive here, but that was oh man, a nasty storm on those SCVs.
Yeah, and there's just no way. These Archons and Zealots just don't take any damage. Siege Tank's not the right unit for dealing with this composition. Zealot's going to run into the natural 25 worker advantage. And, I mean, the Storm drop on these SCVs and Bio will just end the game.
Yeah, that's too much Protoss again. And he didn't get it done last time. Flank on the left side here from ExpecT for some more Storms from Nice. His Immortals really hammering through those Marauders as well. And that last charge lot warp in is going to be the last nail in the coffin for ExpecT for game 1. Nice takes the game.
Good 4-gate Blink opening there from Nice. I thought ExpecT scouted it, knew it was coming, had some good tank positions to not let things too far out of control, but Nice found the weak point in the top left corner of the main base, worked his way around, started isolating siege tanks, and I mean, it seems like such a good position when the tanks are alive. The moment you take away the tanks, unupgraded Marines and SCVs suddenly don't look very good versus Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, we were mentioning it right at the start that we thought the main was the weakness there as far as ExpecT's defenses go. He looked all right in the natural, but spending a little bit of time making a Cyclone and a Viking, maybe a misread on the early opener from Nice.
Yeah.
So those are all signs of, oh, there's a Stargate, right? None of these units, like the Cyclone, of course, does have a tiny bit of utility. The Viking, when it's landed, is like a little bit of bonus damage. Maybe you can pick off the Prism if you're really lucky. But I'm clutching at straws here, as was ExpecT in this defense.
I don't mind the Viking if it lands in the Protoss mineral line while this is happening, but on the defense, it's rather useless, right? You know, unless you're actually stopping the Prism from rotating in, like you're aggressively moving around with the Cyclone, the Viking, and the Marines, because he sniped the Observer. So there is one way you can use that. You say, oh, you just can't get in here. Like, you can't even spot the high ground. I'm going to try and snipe the Prism. It's a bit of a crazy way of doing it, but it is a choice. I do think if ExpecT didn't commit to that push and kind of just turtled up, he might have been okay, but he had no information. He felt like he had to go do something. Obviously, the Storms were great. And from there, after losing that first push, ExpecT just had no play. Too far behind on units. He lost all of his medevacs, which meant his bio couldn't heal up. His tank count was too low, was not able to hold a defensive position. Excellent play there by Nice, and a rather comfortable Game 1 victory.
Yeah, a pretty clean win there from Nice. Very few mistakes. Maybe like a little bit too ham with the Stalkers in the main. He lost a few more than he probably should have. He was having a bit of an awkward sort of mismicro trying to ferry them out of there in the end there as well. But in the end, a very good recovery and a very clean follow-on from the mid-game onwards. We're going to take a short break. When we return, it is going to be Nice versus ExpecT Game 2. Don't go away. We'll see you then. G'day, mates. Welcome back to the Taiwanese qualifiers for DreamHack Summer main event. We are in the middle of a brand new series. It is, of course, ExpecT against Nice, with Nice having a 1-0 lead. Not hugely surprised there. I do favor Nice in this series, but I'd be very keen to see ExpecT fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just one of those things, that 4-gate blink build. When it gets in there, it's a narrow line between shutting it down completely and everything falling apart. I actually think ExpecT managed the chaos quite well, but it was the follow-up rotations of those Stalkers catching the panic barracks down in the natural and kind of forcing one of those to cancel at 99%, the other one to lift off. Things did go awry there, but he's got a couple more chances. Of course, it's a best of 5. First one to 3 maps will end up winning the game. We're going to go into map 2. It's Eternal Empire. It's a big one.
Certainly is. That's one of the maps where Terran can have a little bit of a longer time on the map. Usually the games go a little bit later if they do get to the later stages. In the bottom left, currently down the series, but looking to tie it up, it is ExpecT.
And his opponent up here in the top right-hand side, the favorite, the man who's gotten so solid and so consistent in that Taiwanese scene, he is Nice. Playing for Kaizi Gaming and just getting so high up on that Korean ladder. You know, I remember there just being this funny thing where I always thought of Nice as like, oh yeah, he's that guy who's like a pretty decent kind of, you know, Protoss player. It's like, he's, you know, not too bad a few years ago, but always nowhere near Haas's level. And then there was this point in the last year or so where I was like, whoa, Nice is actually really high on like the NA ladder. And then I saw his ranking where he actually practices on the Korean ladder, and I was like, whoa, when did Nice get so insanely high up? And, you know, peaking up around 6.4k MMR on the Korean ladder, looking amazing in that Katowice run that we always hark back to in those open offline qualifiers. Definitely a player here who's the favorite in this matchup. But ExpecT turned around everyone's expectations against Rex, and personally cheering for him to do it in at least a few of these maps here against Nice.
Yeah, I mean, he was an underdog in that series as well, right? But managed to pull it together. Got him to game 5. That was probably my favorite series of the night, actually.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. It's nothing like an action-packed Zerg versus Terran. A couple of big Widowmine booms, man. Zerglings and Banelings crashing in from multiple angles. Always chaos in that matchup, but I've really come to enjoy this matchup recently. I feel like I've seen mech so much on this map recently. A little bit more impressed with innovation in TY's mech, I would say, rather than, say, Tasia's. Looked a little bit more out of his depth, but definitely something where it's so common in those top Terran players. I wonder if ExpecT will branch out. I've never seen him play mech, by the way.
No, me neither. He's kind of a you know, the micro bio Terran, build order Terran kind of guy. Not really the mech player, the strategic slow things down, go to the super ultra late game player like your TYs. That guy really is not afraid of the super ultra mega late game.
Does see the Stargate and is going to survive at least one adept hit here, but the second one will take him out. And yeah, so nice Stargate opening. A third adept starts immediately as well, which makes me think it's going to be Oracle. But no, Phoenix does come down.
All right.
So defensive build order here. And you know what's funny, Maynard? He goes straight Cyclone against Blink. He goes Widowmine first against the Stargate.
I mean, the Widowmine technically does shoot up Pig. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right in all seriousness. it is a... It's kind of an unfortunate back-to-back couple games here for ExpecT, where
it's just a different approach, right?
opener. Yes,
I guess.
Yeah.
But it's really weird. I thought one Widowmine into... Yeah, this is so odd that he would just do things the opposite to what other Terran players do here. I'm wanting to learn something here, but bad start to things for ExpecT to... Ah, man, losing 3 SCVs. He's hiding the second barracks in the back. He's building a Viking now. He's got these Widowmines set up.
Yeah, this is already a little bit rough. You don't normally lose this many SCVs to the first couple of adepts. I mean, normally there is just one, but, you know, nice. Managed to get those adepts together and really just made his presence felt on the map. And as the Phoenix count gets higher and higher, Nice is going to have to babysit that Viking, as that with the Widowmines is his only anti-Phoenix defense that's mobile at the moment. The Marines are tucked into that bunker.
Yep. And that Widow Mine is not quite in position for that. You can see the SCVs change directions. They're like, come over here, please. But the Phoenix, well aware. There is a bit of a mini game with where you put those Widow Mines, and it seems like Nice is well aware of his opponent's favorite spots. Now, this is a quick second barracks in the back of the main, so, you know, he's got a chance for a quicker than normal bio timing. I really like squeezing a third rack still in, though, off this sort of build order. I mean, a 2 racks timing can do nice, but if you have a third, it's even better.
The Widow Mines get some connections on the Phoenixes, but they kind of split so that it wasn't as bad. None of the Phoenixes died, and a rotation from Nice to make sure that the hurt Phoenixes survived the volley from the Viking there. And yeah, I mean, that second hit in barracks is still not detected here by Nice. That extra bit of bioproduction and stim, probably not considered here for Nice. He's like, oh, if there's going to be a push, it'll probably be like a stimless bunker thing, right? But
yeah.
or just a Widow Mine, like one of those weird upgradeless marine Widow Mine drops, you know, one of those.
Every little bit of damage that does go in, though, I do think will be kind of forcing ExpecT more and more into the 2-base all-in lane. And with Robo Bay tech coming down, I never want to be doing a 2-base all-in into Colossus, personally. You know,
right.
Colossus Phoenix, I think, really, especially these Phoenix are just so good at scouting it coming. You know, they've got a good idea of what they're up against now. Even though they still haven't seen that second barracks, they're seeing a lot of bio units building up, no third command center or anything like that. And we don't see probe production from Nice. I think he's happy to stop here. I mean, he's actually got some probes queued up, bit of a supply block right now. Maybe Nice doesn't realize exactly how much bio is going to be pumping out of these, and there is still an opportunity for a scary timing attack. I mean, if Nice takes gases on his third, that is just insane greed.
Oh no! I think he's misreading this a little bit, Pig.
Yeah, that's greedy. You can still hold on because it's been such a good start. Like, those 3 SCVs on the natural alone is massive. The probe, we'll get a glimpse of this. I don't know if Nice has actually looked at it, though. I don't think
the Phoenix is not coming home, so...
Okay, could do some nice damage here. It's a one-way trip, though. Oh, push is coming across the map. Okay, so at the same time he's going to push up onto the third. There's a lot of economy here. So many probes. He's unfortunately wasting damage hitting an assimilator and a forge. Not the highest priority targets here. The Phoenix are going to be back, so it's going to be hard for him to get out of this base.
Yeah, and come those Phoenixes, Colossus as well. This army is very scary, but the front door of the third base is open. Can ExpecT use this opportunity to put some critical damage on the Protoss?
But he's just got no units. It's like a handful of Marines and Marauders. I mean, he's catching Nice without much there, but I don't know if he needs anything more than Phoenix and a single Colossus to deal with this.
Oh, the Widow Mines don't even get their shots off. The Phoenixes lift them before they fire, and yeah, I mean, you know, ExpecT came in to go for the 1-2 punch, but unfortunately, he whacked him with 2 pool noodles. Like, they were just,
yeah.
They didn't really hurt him.
Well, it's such an odd maneuver, right? To go for that double drop in the back against a Phoenix play. And I really feel with the early second barracks, we needed to see ExpecT like commit to a boy pull or something, you know, more medevac production, get across to the front. But I mean, he's gone for a third CC now, but he's lost quite a few units, and I don't think he can keep up. That's 10 Phoenix, Maynard, and I think we're just going to see Nice roll over him in this game. I felt like ExpecT really lacking any oomph to his play. Nice dictating the pace with the Phoenix and getting so much momentum here from the start. I think ExpecT's a fantastic player, but once again, he's going for a double drop here against a player who's got 10 Phoenix. They're not going to do anything for him in this game. I don't really know how you get out of this situation. I think it's just hoping the Phoenix get overeager, macroing up, trying to get Ghost or something like that. But I kind of feel like this is such a drowning situation. Your boat's taking on water. How do you possibly deal with it? You're going to have to dig for a big mistake out of Nice.
The trades have been a little bit too good, I feel, and a big mistake from Nice is unlikely. He's only lost 2 Phoenixes, and he's done incredible damage here. 15 SCVs, 15 Marines, and not to mention the 7 Widow Mines that he's denied from getting any good splash damage against him. He's starting a second Stargate here, so going really ham on just Phoenix Colossus, although not any Colossus production at the moment.
It's going to find this army in the top, potentially. Oh, it's just out of vision. If he jumps on that, yeah. Oh, this is so bad for ExpecT. They can't get home. I mean, this is dead in the water from ExpecT. It goes back to those early adepts catching SCVs on the natural. I feel like he lost momentum there. And then the Widow Mines, just not a flexible defense. He was hoping for the Phoenix to fly into the Widow Mines. It didn't happen. Now he's forced to try to just get these medevacs out of here. He damages a Phoenix, and really not worth it for a double drop.
I was going to say, you know the game's going well when there is as many Phoenixes as you have Marines, and they're lifting up your Marines directly. Anion Pulse Crystals are starting here for Nice as he continues to extend his lead here. Not really anything going for ExpecT. He needs like a couple really incredible drops that kill tons of probes, and then just not
watch this
take
double
damage
drop.
to his army.
Over on the natural of Nice, he double drops into 3 cannons. Oh no! It was just he's so far behind. He keeps trying to catch Nice off guard, but each time he does this, it's like, well, those units just don't get home now. So there's even a fleet beacon on the way, which is he's actually going 2-star non-stop Mass Phoenix +1 attack, and he's just looking for that. This is Nice, just chilling, having a fun time. Says let's win with Mass Phoenix, couple Colossus on the ground behind it. Why the hell not?
He's so on top of these drops too. It's like, as soon as a drop comes in, it like almost needs to cripple Nice, because otherwise it's like, oh, a drop. Yeah. Well, my Phoenixes are faster than these medevacs. Yes, they have a boost, but that's only temporary. Phoenix speed is forever.
Oh my god, that was a great EMP. Those Phoenix can't fight ground units for quite a while. They'll have to go back and regen. I do like Widow Mines against Stargate, because when it works, it just knocks down their units so early. It's so incredibly good. The problem is, it's just not as stable as, the Cyclone and the Viking cover the main, the Marines cover the natural, and you just keep going from there. So I think you've got to kind of go into the next game after this already. You've got to start planning that almost as ExpecT, and you've got to start to think, okay, how can we get just a bit of a cleaner opening? I think game 1 was looking fine, just, scouted it coming and didn't quite prepare for it. Game 2, again, scouts the opening tech, doesn't quite prepare for it. It's small adjustments that need to be made here for ExpecT. I've seen his macro when he's in control of the game. It looks amazing. But if he lets Nice get so ahead early on, Nice can kind of just play whatever game he wants. And to be honest, it feels odd that Nice hasn't finished this, but you've got to take into account the style. You're going 2 Stargate Phoenix Colossus. What are you going to do to commit to an attack? Just walk 3 Colossus at a couple sentries across the map and try to win with just that and Phoenix? It's more of a mega late game style where you harass all game long, go into carriers, go into disruptors, and you win there. So this is not Nice kind of disrespecting his opponent. It's just him playing the style the way he was planning to. He was not expecting to be this far ahead.
Yeah, it's really hard to look good in StarCraft 2 when you've been losing the game for a couple minutes. And especially at this level where your opponent is, what we say Nice is like 6'3", 6'4" in Korea, which is absolutely insane. That's like pro gamer level. And he is going to make very few mistakes. It's long and short of it.
There is still no Twilight Council in this game. So you can see Nice and said, I need to get rid of these units on the left side of the map. He's like, let's just get rid of those Zealots and Adepts. They were tanking units to keep me alive earlier, and they are now worthless. So we're going to see the sickest run by you guys have ever seen in your life.
The 1230 slow Zealot run by.
Get him! Imagine if they got a
Get him, boys! Get in there, boys!
Oh, they almost got a Marauder and a Ghost. Didn't actually take out any units, but carriers on the way. Carriers are pretty sick because they just shoot up, they shoot down, they shoot all around. They don't do so well versus Mass Marine. The problem with Mass Marine is you're fighting with the most vulnerable, fragile unit to splash damage in the late game, and there's 3 Colossus out. There's Disruptors coming in. Often Storm comes in later on in the game as well. So it's a very cool style. We saw similar style that Nice is playing here. It was Skillus, maybe a month and a half back. Me and you cast a game. Skillus took out Clem on this map with this same sort of situation. And that was a game where Clem didn't take half the beating that ExpecT did.
That was a bit of a sloppy engagement there with those Phoenixes, and here comes the engagement from ExpecT. Now, I don't like the carrier, but let's see if it can make the difference here for Nice on the defense. EMPs all over the flying units here. I think the issue is just not enough for the Terran that shoots up.
Yeah, the Disruptor shot was sick. He's actually lost all of his Interceptors, and there's still Marines and Ghosts on the ground. So ExpecT actually smashes this engagement and kills the entire army. Nice's Disruptors, 3 of them died before they shot. The one that got a shot off got the sickest shot of all time. And despite that, because his Phoenix weren't here, because his Interceptors got cleansed by the Stim Marines, ExpecT takes about the best fight he possibly could, smashes that army, takes out the base, And Nice, who's been so far ahead all game, is suddenly like, oh man, ooh, ow, that was not right. He's got 10 gateways, but he's just started charge. This is a bit of a bizarre scenario, Maynard.
Yeah, I mean, if the disruptors were there, then maybe these carriers rather are useful. But I mean, you know how I feel about this unit. I see carriers in production. I'm like, why are you trying to throw against the Terran? That's weird.
I mean, it creates a problem for the Terran as well, though. It really does. You don't want to just engage into interceptors. I think a lot of the time, later on in the game, you don't want to like run your units forward on top of the Protoss. You want to kind of sit back, set up a concave, and use siege units like libs and EMPs and stuff. So the problem is, if you do that against carriers, they can go to trade with their interceptors, shoot out some storms, some disruptor shots, skirmish, trade away these really disgustingly cheap interceptors only, and then pull back and re-engage a bit later. So it kind of puts the pressure on the Terran to say, well, I need to actually capitalize when I go through this army. And you know what? Right now, there's no splash damage, Maynard. There's 10 High Templar without Storm. Oh my god. If ExpecT knew this, he could just push in and win the game. There is 8 carriers. They've got only +2 attack, though. He's so afraid of Storm, but there's no Storm finish. Nice is faking it.
Yeah, he's sending those High Templar forward like, oh no, watch out. Here comes the splash damage. It's going to be here for really reals in a couple seconds. Big warp in on High Templars. The mass EMP, but of course, doesn't matter for the overcharged shield battery. That's still going to heal things up. There's the EMPs on the carriers. Here's the engagement.
Here comes the Storm, though. The Storm. Oh, he pulls back. No EMPs left, though. He's got to get out of there. I think that's a good withdrawal from ExpecT, and that's the kind of the problem that I talked about with his engagements. What did you just take out there? A few cannons and then just interceptors for the most part. So these are the engagements that are game ending for Terran. You're like, cool, I just lost 40 supply. You've taken out so little of the Protoss, and you find yourself running back, getting cornered here. He's got to run straight south and just try to save any of these units. He's got to get out of there.
He's kind of stuck, huh? Stim as well to damage these units a bit more.
Oh, he's going to try to turn and fight, but I don't think that's the right call. We got Storm there.
Yeah. Oh, good EMPs. Good EMPs, but now there's Archons.
Yeah, Zealots coming in now. Finally, the Zealots are coming in as well. And obviously, ExpecT was so far behind from the early game. The fact that he won that first big engagement was such a big surprise. There just wasn't enough splash damage there for Nice on the ground. But now he's got a massive Archons underneath. He's still got a lot of carriers. His interceptor count rebuilding. And all we've got is Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts. And I mean, there's a good medevac count, but you're down on army supply by 30 against mass Archon carrier. You might not like the composition, Maynard, but when you're up that much army supply, I think it's okay.
Yeah, it turns out when you're super winning the game extra hard, carriers can work. That's good to know. Everyone take notes.
3-3 upgrades. Pretty nice on these Marines, man. And yeah, he's out of interceptors, so the carriers have to leave. This is kind of hilarious.
But the carrier's a good unit, Maynard. I'm watching 60 supply of units float back home.
They can't die. They don't.
No, it didn't die. That's true.
Over time, they are cost efficient, Maynard. That is the problem. Okay.
I know.
They're good units.
They're good units. Stop being a bully. Oh, this master sucks. It is true. You get enough carriers, they kind of just beat everything, right? Like, they have so much DPS. The interceptors come out quickly enough to just burn down most things. ExpecT is massing a lot of ghosts right now, which is very, very expensive because he just wants to make sure the storms everyone you stay.
I mean, I do think he's doing it wrong. Nice. Like I would say there's a few adjustments here. I think he's done an excellent job of getting to this situation, but he keeps going too hard on the carriers. So like, you know, the whole point of the carriers is you create a big problem which forces them to go heavy on Marines, and then you counter the Marines. But, I mean, right now he's got 4 High Templar and a Prism, and that's it. So if that thing gets EMP'd or shot down or whatever, you know, if that doesn't manage to do big storms, it's like, okay, you've got 14 carriers. That's a absolutely insane count of carriers. Like, he's going up to a 15th carrier, and it can work, but it all rests on the storm. So if Terran manages to max out with, say, I mean, you do need a lot of Marines against this, don't get me wrong. You need a pretty crazy count. But if he gets, say, 100 Marines with this army, or even 70 or 80, I don't know if this is is there a critical mass where the interceptors beat Marines? I don't think so. I think it all comes down to that warp prism getting big storms. If that doesn't happen, Nice is in big trouble. That being said, having an observer that sees literally everything for the entire game, probably helping him out quite a bit. He's got that just sitting above the army this entire time, and that makes it really easy for Nice to pick where the fight happens.
Yeah, it looks like going for the planetary in the bottom right. Not a whole lot that planetary can do about fighting back against this many interceptors. We've got a nuke in the top left as well as ExpecT moves to engage the carriers.
Yeah, and he's going to come down here. I don't think he has enough Marines. I think ExpecT is thinking about cutting that army's retreat off. Ooh, nice nuke. But I think, yeah, keep nuking. Keep trying to rebuild these bases. And I mean, it's all just about taking the right fight.
Recall in the top left. No detection.
He lost his observers. He flew them both into the missile turret at the planetary down there. So yeah, he's just like, here's my army. I kind of wish ExpecT went for a big attack into the natural here. After seeing that army take out the robos and the stargates. I mean, that army is so far out of position. And I think, yeah, I think ExpecT's going to go for it, man.
This carrier army sitting on the ghost is just like, cower before me in despair. And then nuke in the middle.
Yeah, nuke's going down all over the shop, man.
I like this. I like it a lot.
Dude, this is actually sick. If ExpecT wins this game, I remember he was getting his butt kicked in game 2 against Rex, came back and won that series. If this oh my god! Wow, 27 probes. Oh my lord. And you know what? I mean, Nice here. His production's all vulnerable. Now, don't get me wrong. If he kills this army, I don't think ExpecT can rebuild it. So ExpecT, if he's going to stay here any longer, he's got to commit. The prism! The prism! Oh my god, it just flew in there. It just got EMP'd. It almost ran in and died. Remember, that's the only splash damage here for Nice. If that goes down, he loses straight up to just Marines stimming and attack moving. So, oh, he's got to get big storms, and that's all we care about.
There are 26 ghosts here. Just, that's a number to digest right now.
The storms! I think this is good enough. I think this is good enough. There's so many interceptors. They're starting to fall. But look at that. That's what he needs. Big storms coming down. The interceptor count's getting blitzed, but he will take out most of the bio there. There's only 27 interceptors left. Oh my god, one more storm. Oh my god, this is insane. ExpecT actually taking a surprisingly not horrendous engagement in the corner of the base. But at the end of the day, the interceptors barely do prevail. That single storm drop, dude. If that went down, I actually think ExpecT wins the game there. And he almost flew that prism into the bio.
Yeah, it was resting on the edge of a knife there for Nice. ExpecT actually could have won the game there. He had the supply advantage, the army advantage. He had a lovely position as well. He was kind of cutting off the Protoss from his own main base. But in the end, the numbers still favor Nice, and he is still getting closer and closer, I feel, to clinching this one out. It's just a matter of time. He's replenishing these interceptors, going in for the next wave, having those prisms, those High Templars still alive. I think he can just do it right here.
Yep, not enough Marines. There's only 31 Marines, 18 goes 3 medevacs. Nice is going to come in, and there is 122 interceptors on this map. The Storm Drop going to add some big splash damage. And the scream of 1,000 ghosts. It's going to haunt some Terran dreams tonight.
When I grow up, I want to be a ghost voice actor. Maybe for StarCraft 3.
There's a whole lot of units who apparently think themselves going down is about as dramatic as Boromir every single time, you know?
It's like, all right, you're here for the ghost death sound. And I'm like, all right, what's my motivation? They're like, you've stuck your finger inside of a fast closed drawer. Okay, go.
Yeah, I mean, this is so ridiculously far behind all game long. The fact ExpecT made that so good, I am proud of my boy ExpecT. And I just think, yeah, a bit far behind from early on. So it's kind of repeating a pattern that I think saw in Probe vs. Risky as well, where seeing a few series where one of the players gets kind of like in not a great position relatively early and then just hangs on like a champ and fights as hard as they can. Didn't quite work out here in this game, and Nice does take the 2-0 advantage, but when you're that far ahead on supply and economy all game, and then, I mean, this was the fight, right? Most of the disruptors walked forward and died. There's one big shot there on the left. That took out a lot of units, but all the interceptors were gone at that point. And you had a bunch of like slow zealots warping in. You had nothing there for splash damage. So I think that was the big oversight by Nice in these games. You know, I think carriers from this advantageous position should have looked so much more dominating, but I think he just wanted to give you a little bit more props for kind of hating on the carrier, Maynard. He wanted to make the game way closer than it should have been a little bit. Just one or two messy engagements, some big boom nukes. Cool game, man.
One of his lower third things for the beginning of the series was that he was, you know, Mr. Sky Toss, and maybe this is just his preferred way to play. Maybe he just likes the style.
Well, I mean, carriers are really fun. So what my favorite part of this composition is, Maynard, you attack move the carriers, and then all you do is micro your Storm Drop. There's literally nothing else you need to do. So it definitely simplifies late game engagements to like just do that Storm Drop really well, which he showed he was an expert at. And it allows you to just simplify it. The carrier, of course, such a well-rounded unit. It's kind of hilarious. Just this thing, you're like, wait, but your army gets countered by Marines? And it's like, you've got the most extreme unit. It does well versus everything except Marines and Thors, basically. But Storm, of course, the great equalizer. Disruptors earlier on just needed to be a little bit more careful with those, and things may have gone better. But you know what? At this point, it's a 2-0 advantage, and our Terran champ, he's going to need to dig super deep to make this one work.
Yeah, he's going to win the next 3 in a row. And Nice has been looking so solid in these first 2 games. I mean, make no mistake, I feel like he was super hard winning that game already, which is why the carriers kind of worked for him in the end, and maybe why he went for them. Because he was just like, oh, I've got the reins here. Let's go into carrier and just seal the deal. Anyway, in the top left, the challenger with a big task ahead of him. He is ExpecT.
Down here in the bottom right-hand side, in the blue, the Protoss player, the favorite. Can he close it out with a dominating 3-0? He is Nice.
Very nice, in fact. He's on a map where you can have a little bit of trouble with Terran. They have a propensity on this map to go for that tank push kind of style, which is not as scary as it would be on Submarine, but this map, I would say, is maybe second scariest.
Indeed. I can't help but think that beautiful 50 cal sniper rifle floating on the naive Dreamworld banner next to ExpecT's base. You know, finally we got to see his obsession with ghosts in that last game.
Ghosts are cool, man. I like the ghost a lot more than the carrier. I just, as a unit, I just think it's a cool unit, you know?
Yeah, I'm actually searching up Wikipedia to see if interceptors are light. I'm very curious to see if they take bonus damage. They are actually light mechanical units, so the ghosts do bonus damage versus them. So I was thinking, hey, are these units, like, was there too many ghosts? Should there just be more Marines and, like, other units? But I actually think they're not bad there, since they do their full massive damage up against the interceptors. I think it's 2 ghost shots to take out an interceptor. So, yeah, kind of cool from ExpecT. Massing Ghost Marine, trying to take out a tier 3 Protoss army and almost making it happen. And back to standard openings for both sides here, Maynard. You know, the quicker core up against the barracks gas opening. ExpecT doesn't like scouting. He just goes for his bunker straight away. Checks for proxies a little bit with the Reaper this time around, but he's real confident getting that little head start, and I actually quite like it. You know, I really like the idea of not investing in the scout if you can get away with it, and Nice seems to be happy to let it happen. I think the problem we pointed out in the previous 2 games, he scouts the tech in the opening, but then he still takes big damage from it. So great scouting, but ExpecT has got to work on his responses a little bit. If he can get a cleaner opening, I have confidence he can take a map or 2 off Nice, maybe even turn the whole series around.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I wonder what the odds would be in Vegas. We've got the Adept heading through the middle of the map here as the Reaper's not going to find any damage. Once again, right now in PvT, Protoss has figured out you just get a shield battery in your middle line. You don't need to keep the Adept at home. You can poke the Terra nice and early, but of course, ExpecT has that bunker pretty fast. He even got that bunker before his second depot was done. It was like a very fast bunker.
Yeah, I really do like the bunker there. Just, you know, slows down your second gas a little bit. Obviously, in this case, you know, the factory's not badly timed. Just going Widow Mines here against a Twilight. A bit more of a standard situation. You know, we're not seeing that weird tech turnaround that he did in Games 1 and Game 2, where he did the opposite of what the standard tech reaction is. This time around, oh no!
In there. That's always annoying.
Yep. Big disruption. Starport delay. Adept sees the Widow Mine, sees everything. Gets an SCV or 2. Disrupts the mining. It's just unnecessary little mistakes like this. Even sees the quick second barracks. It's not the end of the world, but it's just that's the only one you're allowed. If you're going to bring this series back as ExpecT, like, we can't keep making, you know, mistakes like that. You've got to really start locking things down. And it's going to be the 4-gate blink build again, Maynard. So, you know, if ExpecT sees this with his Reaper, I'd love it to poke back in on the natural. I think that would be really huge if you could see that gateway count.
Yeah, this is the big tell here. The Reaper gets in the main base. No gateways in the main, or except for the one. And he is getting zoned out pretty well here by Nice. All right, I think he just maybe saw those gateways there.
He saw 2 of them. Yeah, he didn't see the 4th one, so he doesn't know for sure it's 4-gate blink. He's got a Widowmine drop going across the map. There is an observer though, and it looks like Nice might opt for a quicker 3rd Nexus. Hasn't gone for it just yet. First tank only now starting. There's a missile turret. ExpecT really doesn't know what he's up against. He's preparing in case there's DTs. That's going to be a little rough. If this Blink Stalker pressure counterattacks, if there's a good shutdown in the Widowmine drop Stalker's counter, it's going to be rough for ExpecT.
And the Widowmines don't really care about that shield battery, but the Stalkers seem pretty ready here for Nice.
Yeah, he's moving out across the map now, though, so the patience here from ExpecT is pretty good. The problem is the blink in the main. There's exposed depot at the natural, exposed depot in the main. There's no second tank starting up. There we go. It does start up now. Marauder's out. Stim's on the way. Good scan there to start things off. I think things look okay for ExpecT. It's just, you know, we saw how quickly it could crumble in game 1 of this series.
Well, the main is once again just looking a little bit exposed here, Pig. I'm very worried for that particular... Yeah, I mean, kind of just like Everdream. I'm very, very worried about that particular angle. We do have Prism coming in for the backside, though, so a little bit of style from Nice. Not your regular... It's not your dad's 4-gate blink.
Yeah, he's not really committing this time. He's just going into charge, 8 gateways, and the Archon tech, taking a 3rd base and probing up. So Nice is kind of going for the 3rd, but he's going to be looking to fight all game long. Now, this is a very common style at the moment. It opens up a lot of cool timing attacks. You can ambush an over-aggressive Terran attack, but you have very little follow-up. And this is something we've consistently seen out of a lot of Protoss players. If you get wind of this as ExpecT, I mean, you can chill. You can take a 3rd command center. You can hang out, and you can do whatever you want. Nice mining time denial here. But no cigar.
Nah, Stalkers blink out of there. Bit of denied mining, but the probes all survive, which is the most important thing. We've got Storm a 3rd of the way done here for Nice, so not pulling all of his eggs into the Stalker basket. And here comes that tank push.
He has no idea. That's a lot of gateways he just saw. So if ExpecT commits to this push, I think it's a really terrible idea. You've seen 8 gateways finishing already. There is a crazy amount of production. Even without Storm, the Zealot account alone is going to crush this push. So I like ExpecT posturing, but as soon as he gets even a little closer, he's got to start stimming a Marine head to scout. He's going to be really careful with this army. I think ExpecT maybe being a little bit too ballsy right here. I like that scan, and I think upon seeing that many Zealots, you get the hell out of there. ExpecT, very good decision. Picks up his tanks, boosts home immediately. ExpecT has the read. He's got the 3rd command center. Finally, I feel like we've got a game where ExpecT has not fallen behind early. He knows that Nice can hit a strong attack, and we're going to actually get to see ExpecT go to the mid game on a much better footing.
And Nice, in fact, with that observer, sees his army return home and goes, all right, let's pull back. Well played.
We're going to see a scan there.
He wants it.
He's got the energy, but it's kind of funny the way ExpecT's moving his army around. Like, he really wants to kill that observer, but I think maybe he's just getting ready for a frontal push. He was expecting a charge push. Smart thing what Nice did is after he got scanned, he actually went and... oh, storm drop. There's Marines there, though, Maynard. Ooh.
Yeah. Nice showing some style here. It's a very, you know, something that we've only seen from a very few amount of Protosses. He's not your regular stock standard Protoss player. He likes his Sky Toss in the bigger maps. He likes Storm drops in this matchup. It's really cool to see.
Well, I like this triple drop. So, you know, ExpecT's going to say, look, let's sneak this around the edge of the map. Nice has not been playing with a lot of map vision. There's not a lot of observers out there. He sniped 2 of them. There's actually no observers on the map. He's going to keep foraging with storm drops for big worker kills. But, I mean, there's turrets zoning them out. You've got this amazing defensive setup from ExpecT, who's just like, hey, I'm just going to sit here and build to the next step and macro. And it's on you to do damage. And, oh, that storm drop. Oh, my God.
It's dead. Prism. It's dead. Oh, and the High Templar go bye-bye. Well done from ExpecT. An unfortunate mistake from Nice. Triple drop heading towards the main base. Can the Terran get the damage here?
He's a bit out of position. His units are going to have to funnel back up from his natural. Question is, what are the targets? I mean, there's nothing else happening. He's going to push across the front at the same time. I don't know. This is the same maneuver he did before, but I feel like it's almost a little bit autopilot. He's got to pick up and get out of this main base for a start.
He's going to try and engage the gateway units a little bit directly here. Obviously, as soon as he loads up, the Stalker's going to try and pick him off. The other healthier medevacs that actually have units inside of them do survive.
Stormu! Oh, he's got to watch out. Big storm, but good spread. Actually, nice response there from ExpecT. Trying to siege up on both sides. I don't think he needs to force the issue here. I think he's got a good setup. He's going to try to bounce around and like winch this open. There's not that many supporting units. It's mostly just High Templar right now.
And the tanks, I mean, the tanks had an opportunity there to target down some High Templar, but they're busy with the Stalkers right now. They're just on a move. Reinforcements from ExpecT coming through the middle of the map, though. His army supply. Oh, the storms.
One big storm there. And this is a good pullback from ExpecT, though. He's killed the fourth on the right-hand side. That one finished and just went down. His bio's kind of just chilling for now, but I think pull back. ExpecT has just slowed things down. He's taken out a lot of the units of Nice. He's got his own +2 attack. He's got his Radius of the Sun upgrade for his EMP. His fourth command center started. ExpecT here, finally, in a more normal, a more calm TVP where he's got the information that he needs, looking way better.
And these storms catching that bio in the middle. ExpecT, of course, with a large army supply advantage. But I gotta say, Nice's army composition is starting to turn into something that's a little bit scarier for what ExpecT's going. Because ExpecT is starting to go into ghosts here, and as that tier 3 robotics tech gets higher, whether it's Colossus or Disruptor, the ghosts start to fall off a bit.
They do, absolutely, but he's starting Viking production, and there's such little map vision for Nice. So Nice here is like, okay, I'm starting a fourth base, but his upgrades are weak. He's got a great probe count, but weak upgrades, weak map vision. And those are two things which mean, you know, just straight up bio is going to do good as long as they can winch open things with the multi-prong, kind of find those weaknesses, get a bit of leverage. I think these medevacs got to get the hell out of there. Don't be dropping when there's nothing else going on. This is a crazy move from ExpecT. It might actually pay off. He drops in the mineral line, almost trying to bait the storms onto the friendly probes.
And he actually manages to split against the storm very nicely during the drop. Kills 2 High Templar. 13 probes have died.
This was such a dangerous move. This was such a dangerous move from ExpecT, but it has paid off big time. Ah, bit of miss micro there. Yeah, I mean, it pays off, but he definitely could have got out of there a little bit quicker. And I like that he's got a fourth. I like that he's got good macro, but definitely, I think maybe overextending just a little. I'm definitely looking at that second starport timing and saying, how quickly can you get to 8 Vikings? Because there's 3 Colossus out. They've got range. +2 is going to be done. And that splash damage for Nice, it's getting bigger and bigger. You mentioned about bio, it looks great, but you add Colossus, you add Storm, and now Disruptors 2 at a time. There's going to be a moment where there's so much splash damage, things could turn upside down very quickly.
Absolutely. The Ghosts have tons of utility against everything here from Protoss. And I like that ExpecT is actually getting a lot of Vikings out. But you got to be careful when you're Terran against a comp like this. If you go too heavy on the Viking production, we're already seeing 6. He's going up to like 10 or so here. And you're up against... You know, what are we up against? 3 Colossi, which is the magic number. It's kind of heading towards overkill. I do like them for the Prism, though, like for Storm Drop. It's actually a bit of an unsucked hero having the Vikings in your army comp.
Yeah, got to agree with that one. No 3-2 upgrades either here. You know, +2 armor never went down. +3 isn't down. He's been so good at getting rid of the observers, which is awesome. But now that it's just a one-directional engagement, right? I think we're about to see ExpecT really tested. I think the very best Terrans, I go, yeah, you win this fight. You'll just dodge the Disruptors, EMP every High Templar, your Vikings will kill the Colossus. And sometimes if you watch enough Maru, you can get fooled into thinking it's easy to do all of that without copping a bunch of splash damage to the face. It is not. It's actually incredibly easy to just make the slightest mistake and lose your whole bio army. And Insano, they're pointing out a lot of bio got left behind. This is only a section of his army. Oh, this is a... Yeah, okay, he's realized he's got to pull back. Half of that bio on the left-hand side, maybe even prepared for the Zealot run by?
Well, whether deliberate or not deliberate, it is engaging the Zealots and cleaning them up.
Hey, that's good. Yeah, he's got to join up, though. Oh, no, flanking High Templar! Flanking High Templar! Remember that feedback got +1 range. A couple good feedbacks go down, but EMPs do answer. Still plenty of ghosts left where that came from. DT Shrine now on the way. Still only single forge. 2-1 upgrades for the Terran. +2 attack for the Protoss, but a lot more splash damage available. It all comes down to this next engagement. If these guys commit to this fight, it's going to get real dicey real quick. I like the way ExpecT's rotating. If he can go down and isolate his base on the left, this can work out really nicely.
So with this Viking count, the Colossus shouldn't live too long, but these Disruptor Novas, if they connect, I mean, ExpecT's army could just disappear here.
Oh, a couple of big EMPs. Oh man, the Disruptors actually, there's still 3 or 4 Disruptors. He's got to be careful. The Storm Drop comes in as well. ExpecT committing hard to this fight. It started off really good. A few Storms in the tail end. There's a lot of Vikings left. Are they going to land? They are. One medevac is still loaded up. Oh no.
The Immortal is destroying these Vikings and the charge loss on the left side. This is exactly what I feared here for ExpecT. Nicest Disruptors and his Robotics army just too powerful in the end. And with the charge lot reinforcements, their +2 attack is hacking and slashing through these, a little bit of a squishy Bio army. He's only got +1 armor here at this point.
You know, overall, though, a great engagement for ExpecT. I think at the end of it, you've still got a great units lost advantage here for the Terran player. He's traded way more efficiently throughout this game, and that's all in his favor. If he can keep expanding and mix some harassment in, I like the frontal engagement confidence. That's great. That puts the fear in the Protoss. Suddenly, Nice is like, oh god, I need everything together just to hang on in these fights. But the thing is, as Blink DTs come in, as Zealot run by start hitting all these edge bases, it's going to get very hard for for ExpecT to defend his bases. And I kind of want him to be doing a little bit of that to the Protoss. While he still can get in there with a double drop or a triple drop, cue some Liberators into the mineral lines as he's now doing on the left-hand side, and hopefully get a bit of harassment done to control the Protoss so he doesn't just get 6-7 bases for free.
We got Shadow Stride on the way here, and also a tech shift for the Terran into a few more Liberators, but then getting back into Viking production. Certainly still afraid of Colossi numbers. He seems to really fear Colossi with his Viking production.
Well, Liberators are going to siege up 4 bases at once, Maynard. As long as they don't siege on the cannons, this is going to be a lot of APM suddenly required out of Nice all at once. They're sieging up on the bottom left. They're coming down on the right-hand side at the same time.
He's not target firing the High Templar. Could have gotten it there. Storm, in fact, goes down. The High Templar and the Liberator go down.
On the top, at the same time, he just dives. The bio's all cramped up. It's only a section of the Terran army, and all the SCVs, the Planetary and the Bio, go down. A great maneuver there from Nice, but he's losing some probes behind it. He's lost a bunch of mining time. A big army on the left-hand side for ExpecT. Things could still get chaotic very quickly. Overall, though, sick handling from Nice. He's actually killed a base, only lost 7 probes, despite 4 Liberators coming in simultaneously. This is great multitasking from Nice.
Well, this Nexus is definitely toast, but Nice does have recall available if he wants to grab his army and consolidate the forces a little bit quicker. And honestly, just buying time to walk down here. Oh no, Disruptor getting a little bit too close there. Dies for free. His charge lot's going to keep the Bio back as his Stalker Ball comes in for the south side. These Vikings have nothing to kill here. They don't add anything.
Yeah, I think he's getting a bit overeager as ExpecT. Remember, this is only a portion of his army, and as the rest of the Protoss comes back to bear, it's just an ill-fated engagement. It was only remember, he'd lost so much Bio on the top of the map, so this was only part of his army up against the entire Protoss army. I think he saw the Protoss units trickling in, and ExpecT said, hey, that's not that much. I can take that fight. But look at all these reinforcements. These guys were just too late to the party. And I mean, good micro from ExpecT, but I think now, with so many Disruptors here, I don't know if he can hold on to this base.
A bit of a bold blink there from Nice, but every Disruptor Nova is killing Ghosts here.
Oh, big Disruptor shots, and he's trying to hunt him down, is ExpecT, but he doesn't have the numbers. I think he's got to be more defensive with these engagements. I know that's kind of scary to say, but I think right now hiding behind the Planetary is his only course of action. Try to get out a few more units and repair that Planetary, and just as long as you hold on to that base, you've still got a chance to rebuild one more big maxed out army and play with it. But, the Vikings, you kept pointing it out, Maynard, they really have not done much. Once they killed the Colossus early on, they keep being rebuilt, and they're pretty much dead weight in these fights.
Pretty much. They have a tiny bit of utility, but not really, mainly in mineral lines at this point. There's so many Disruptors here from Nice. Speaking of which, a Nova from the high ground pushes back ExpecT, giving Nice the ability to pick off that Planetary on the left.
Yeah, good snipe here. Just getting out of position here from ExpecT. Loses the Planetary, loses about 20 SCVs up here. He's trying to push up this ramp. Wow, big micro. Oh, there's too much Storm in the backside. If he chases, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, ExpecT. No. And he taps out. No GG.